coin. Recently, I was at the mall where there were hundreds and hundreds of people walking around. And as I sat on the bench and observed the people, I noticed that they were from all walks of life. And certain people were going to movies, certain people were there to shop, some were just window shopping, others were there to meet people and just hang out, others were there to connect, others were there fighting, crying, laughing. But as I sat at the bench and observed these people, I noticed that perhaps they were searching for something more. I noticed that perhaps they are searching for more to life. As I was sitting on the bench, a gentleman approached me and said, "Hey, how are you doing?" And right away, I gave him just the real surface answer. And I said, "Oh, I'm doing fine. How about yourself?" Coin. And he said, "No, seriously, how are you doing?" And at that point, I noticed that this man was searching more than just the general surface answer. He wanted to go deeper. So I began to answer and tell him what was really going on in my life. I began to share with him the different frustrations I had, different pains I was feeling. And right away we had this connection. A connection that was more than just a surface type of connection. A connection that was deeper. A connection that meant more. Well, in the Bible, God talks about this type of connection. There's a Greek word, Koinonia, which when translated means connection, but it's more than just connecting. The word koinonia means to connect with someone and then go deeper. The word koinonia means to connect and then put yourself in that situation. The word koinonia is to dig deeper into that person's life. Not just a surface connection, but to dig and dig and dig, to actually put yourself in their shoes, to understand their pain, to understand what they're going through. Koinonia is a fascinating word that's more than just connecting. It's digging deeper to understand what they're going through. Every Monday night, I get together with a group of students and we meet at my house for the purpose of connecting. We get together and we play games, we hang out, we start studying God's Word, we spend time in prayer. We have a lot of time for connecting and a lot of students show up. But on this one particular night, one of my students began to open up and began to share. She began to share how her father was an alcoholic and didn't care for her. She began to share how her mother was an alcoholic and didn't want anything to do with her. And as she began to tell us her story, each and every one of us there that night began to feel her pain. We began to understand what she was going through. That night, we experienced what the Bible calls koinonia, where we placed ourselves in her shoes to understand her pain and what she was going through. Not only did we stop there, we went deeper into the situation. You see, the word koinonia is the idea of connecting and then going deeper in the situation. So as we were there, understanding what she was going through, feeling her pain, putting ourselves in her shoes, we began to experience true koinonia. We began to understand what she was going through. And we began to cry. And we began to hurt. And then we began to pray. You see, God did not intend for us to go through life all alone. God intended for us to go through life connected. God intended for us to experience koinonia, to experience a connection, not just on the surface level, but where we take it deeper, where we understand the pain, we understand what they're going through, and we put ourselves in that situation. God intended us to experience more to this life. God intended us to experience koinonia.